Welcome to the Victim Prevention Project.
What is parental alienation? Parental alienation, unfortunately, is where one parent turns, or really anybody for that matter, it doesn't have to be the other parent, but most in general, it's the other parent who convinces the children that their other parent is bad by a campaign of denigration, causing the child to denigrate their other parent. They're basically put into a position where they must be against their other parent, otherwise there's repercussions at home with the alienating parent, who they feel or believe is their only means of support or survival, because they're told that the other parent doesn't love them or has moved on, is not interested in them anymore, so they're forced, obviously, to bend psychologically to the will of the alienating parent, and it's horrible. I can't imagine what my kids are going through or have gone through, not knowing that I've been available the entire time. Anyways, I'm trying to keep my emotion out of it. This is for information purposes for those who want to learn more, understand more, hopefully, potentially, that there might be an alienating parent out there who stumbles across my video and goes, I think I've been doing that, and that's not cool. I know that there's potential for that awakening because recently my stepkid's mother has called and apologized for things that she's done. I'm not going to name her name or any stories or anything like that, just for the sake of privacy and respect. But there's hope there. There's hope there. Like, it can happen. And I'm hoping and praying for the same for my family's situation as well. So I stumbled across a therapist she's got over 30 years experience on the topic of parental alienation. Her name is Linda Gottlieb, and her letters are LCSWR. She's in New York. She's a family therapist, and she specializes in parental alienation. And it's really interesting how she brings awareness to it, because she does short 1-minute clips of facts that she's discovered and learned through her own practice and through knowledge of particular studies on the topic. She does these 1-clip videos to bring awareness, and I went through about 10 of them, and today I might go through a couple, but a few of them really stood out for me. But this is going to be a little upsetting for you targeted parents who are just discovering what your children are going through, because this really, a lot of the videos I came across really focused on the kids. And that's really, at the end of the day, the most important thing. I know that your pain is terrible, but at the end of the day, it's the kids that really matter. You know, they're the innocent ones. They're the ones trapped in the cycle. If they are trapped in the cycle, yeah, they matter. And people need to know what's going on. So this particular topic is identifying an alienated child. How do you identify an alienated child? What does it look like? What do they say? What do they do? So she said the primary symptom for identifying an alienated child is known as denigration of the alienated parent. And I believe I told you what that is. Denigration is the action of unfairly criticizing someone or something. And this is absolutely key to identifying an alienated child, because the child resists contact with that parent in all forms they have with me. If there is court-ordered contact with penalties, the child will withdraw or disengage during the contact. Visits are absolutely resented. Presents are rejected. The parent is disinvited or uninvited to activities to the child's life. The child does not want to share information about their medical, educational activities, or even their friendships, who they're engaged with, how they're doing, anything. And it's not that they're not interested, it's that they can't share these things with you because their other parent doesn't want you to. and they're forced to go along with it. It's sad. It sucks. And activities and friendships. Okay, the child makes the parent basically feel like a persona non grata. Persona non grata is an unacceptable or unwelcomed person. That's how it makes you feel. It makes you feel like as if you never existed. Like you're a stranger to your child. And that's what it says, and it makes you feel like a stranger in the child's life. That's exactly how it makes you feel. I can't tell you how horrible it's been for me. I can't imagine your own story. Mine sucks real bad. Phone calls, emails, presents are rejected. Oh my God, it was 2 Christmases ago, I sent out a huge package for the kids, and one of those presents in there was really special. I had a custom book made for them and their daddy. It was a book about them. And it was special, and I was excited for them to get that. And I wanted their dad to see, I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to cause any problems. Like, let's get along. I thought by that gift, in and of itself, it would say a lot. Like, it would say that I'm not being combative. I care about you as my children's dad. I don't want to see anything bad happen to you, despite the difficulty that you've been. Like, how does that help anyone? It's not helping anyone. But if at the end of the day this is all about hurting me, it's hurting the kids. That half of them, you're telling them that half of their selves is bad because I don't matter anymore. Like, I'm just toilet paper to be used and flushed down the toilet. I don't understand that. But there was a couple more that I wanted to discuss. What's really important is there's going to be naysayers out there that say that this doesn't exist, that it's called estrangement. I heard that from my child's dad, something about estrangement, that it's something that I did and the kids don't want nothing to do with me. I wasn't a perfect mom, but I know that my kids knew that I loved them. I wasn't perfect by any means. I got wrapped up in addiction. I was addicted to opiates. I was an erratic mess back in 2017. I was trying to do a group to help the community. That was a big undertaking that if I'd have known how big of an undertaking it was, I wouldn't have bit that piece of steak off. And there's a big story behind that. But for years and years and years, it was extremely difficult to communicate with my child's dad. Like, impossible. We had our good moments, but they didn't last long, and it would go around this circle of good and, oh my God, bad 3/4 of the way. Anyways, before I get too far off topic, my phone rang. I apologize. I had to cut the video for a second. I was young. I was trying to get into psychology to help children, troubled kids such as myself. My mind and emotions and spirit were locked in time. I had no experience, no life experience outside of my relationship with my 3 daughters' dad. And it was very difficult, to say the least. I'm not going to air our dirty laundry, but it was pretty traumatizing. The struggles we went through. We moved many times, lost jobs. We couldn't get our crap together. We really couldn't. I'm not innocent there, I learned bad habits from my mom. My mom was very verbally unfair. She was short. She had her loving side, but my mom was not an easy person to live with, and some of her habits, now that I look back on how my poor girls were raised, I was a very troubled person. And I still am in a lot of ways. God's still ironing out my issues. I'm not perfect, but one step at a time, one day at a time, You have to take this walk with the Lord. Pick up your cross every day and follow Him. And He'll show you the errors of your ways. And He has shown me a lot of my errors. And I'm not proud of them. One of them being, I thought it was okay to smoke your cigarettes around your kids. I grew up with that. And it's crazy, after I had my son and I was in a different environment, what God supernaturally imparted into me. No, it's actually not all right for you to smoke cigarettes around your kids. It's not cool. So I don't do that. I don't smoke cigarettes around my son, especially in my house. That wasn't okay. I cussed like a sailor. If anybody said anything sideways to me, disrespectful, even if I was in the right, I was quick to tell them, how uncool they were. Well, now that kind of stuff rolls off my back. I don't deal with people in that way anymore. And when I was fighting with their dad, a lot of it was done in front of them. And that's not okay. And I learned these things in school. And when I went into the women's shelter for a minute, they taught me a lot of things that I wasn't aware of that weren't cool. Instinctively, I knew fighting in front of the kids isn't cool. But I did do it in my younger years a lot. But as time went on and I grew up, I realized these things aren't cool. So I ended up in a tent in my backyard, trying to not fight with my child's dad in front of my children. At some point I woke up, you know what, that it's not cool anymore. And so instead of leaving, I moved into a tent in my backyard. Anyways, it was really rough, and we lived in Flint. During the water crisis, I tried to help the community. The insecurities would step in and say that I was stepping out on my child's dad, and I actually wasn't. I wasn't stepping out on him. I was desperately trying to help the community get water. Like, I was taking cases of water to elderly apartments, to the elderly who couldn't get down from the top floors down to get clean water because they're disabled or they have no family or anybody to help them. Those are the types of things I was trying to do. I was trying to reach out and connect to the community so that my family had an opportunity to get help too as well, because I have a very altruistic heart and I care what happens to people, especially my own children. So despite my errors, I have a fire in my heart that's full of love, and He knows this about me. And hopefully my children do too, if it wasn't taken from their heart. Like, if it's truly in your heart, but you can brainwash people. And I'm sorry to say, but bad things have been said about me that just simply aren't true. And a lot of those things are in the CPS reports. When I got those reports, I was reading things in there, like my youngest daughter, it says in there that she witnessed me having orgies. ORGIES. Yes, orgies in front of her. It's written in the CPS reports. That's what was going on with my little girl. Absolute freaking not. It was not. And when I read that, I think I stayed drunk for a couple weeks. Yeah, I was pretty upset. That was really upsetting that my daughter allegedly said that. I say allegedly because I think a CPS worker actually wrote that in there. I don't think my daughter actually said that. And there were other things, like I stole the food out of my own house so my kids didn't have anything to eat. My house was in total disarray. My house has never been kept in disarray. I'm disorderly right now because I'm dysfunctional, but I mean, my house isn't like horrible now. In my opinion, it is. But no, my house has always been sanitary and well kept. Cluttered, yes. Sometimes, a lot of the time. But never unsanitary or uncared about. At any rate, the whole point of this video is to give hope. I want to give you guys hope, because there is hope. I've learned some things. I've learned a lot of things, and I'm actually really excited about it, and I'd like to share it with you, because coming from a hopeless part of my world, it's really nice to know that God really does love you, and he really loves me, and he really loves your kids. Your kids belong to God first, then you, and we do the best we can. We're not perfect, but that's not a ticket to keep doing wrong things. So I no longer do those wrong things. Arguing, fighting, taking opiates. I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, that happened to me. I wound up on opiates. It began as a innocent thing. After I had my children, I had back problems, and I went to the doctor, and they prescribed me Vicodin. I got addicted to those, got myself off of it, went back to the doctor because the pain was still there, and I said, look, I need something non-addictive, non-narcotic. And he told me, well, there's this new drug called tramadol, and you could take this and you won't get addicted to it. So I did. And when I tried to get off of it, it was worse than getting off of Vicodin. It was worse. It felt like if I didn't have it, I felt like I was plugged into a light socket. It was bad, really bad. And towards the end there, when my relationship was getting really, really heated with my ex, it got really bad. I started abusing more and more and more. And then I just started taking anything just to kill the pain, because I had too much on my shoulders, and I had nobody to talk to. I had nowhere to run. I had no help until I broke. I broke and I ran for help, and that help didn't help me at all. In fact, they helped to hurt. Actually, they were used to help to hurt. They don't know that, but they were. I didn't know that there were open CPS cases while I was in the shelter with my youngest daughter. Apparently, I was doing all kinds of things that I wasn't doing that are in those reports, because sad to say to some people, Child Protective Services is not always your friend. They really do abuse the system. Some of those workers are not always out to protect you and your family. They're not out to help you. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying some of them, and in my case, it was real bad. They took the word of my daughter's dad without checking with me and finding out, and those things were grossly written in those reports. And I will be sharing those reports on this channel. I'm going to be discussing all of that. I'm going to be doing my damnedest, my blessedest, I'm going to be doing my blessedest to give you words of encouragement directly straight from the Bible. The Bible is amazing. It is not a book. It's the Spirit of God. When you read it, He talks to you. I know that sounds crazy, but He will. He'll communicate with you in the ways He knows that you'll understand, because He's your creator and He loves you, and He'll open your eyes, lift the veil, and show you your errors, and you can fix them, and He'll show you the way. Behold, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And He's amazing, and I can't thank Him enough. I really can't. So I did get some scriptures for this last statement about identifying an alienated child. They'll denigrate their other parent. They'll make them feel worthless, like total crap, you guys. Like utter crap. It's awful, but it's not their fault. It's really not their fault. They're put in a position they have no choice. They don't have a choice. They're dependent on that other parent. And sadly, some of those alienators, they know this. And the children are manipulated and used as a weapon. I'm not saying that's the case in my case, but science will show you that's 99% of the truth. I don't know if it is in my case, but if I had to guess, it's a little bit, from my own evidence, it's not good. It's pretty bad. I've reached out many times, and when it was said that nobody knew where I was, He knew where I was every step of the way. I made sure my family knew at any given point where I was. Sorry to say, but my daughter's dad will always be in my heart, part of my family. He's my child's dad. So whether he likes it or not, it's really death till we part. It's our kids that glue us together. And I want nothing more in this world than to get along with them, give them a big old fat hug, and tell them I love them, and that it's going to be okay. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. I mean, I see families that are split up, they get together, they have barbecues, and I got a really good friend that has her ex over with the kids, and what happens, whatever. And then there's other families that don't do that because there's people who hold grudges. Grudges suck, man. They eat away at your soul. That bitterness, that resentment, that yuck. Let's talk about it, you know? Let's talk about that. You can't say that you're perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. But I'll tell you what, these things that I've been through have put me in an awful situation that isn't fair. It's not fair to the kids at all. You know, what about them? They're missing their mom. I'm their mom. I love them a lot, a whole lot. Despite not being ready, like I said earlier, I love those kids with all my freaking being, man. I love them so much. And all I want to do is be their mama. I want to love them. Just let me talk to them. I just want to give them a hug. That's all I want to do. And let them know that I don't hate them. I didn't move on without them. The plan was not to leave them behind. They're not left behind. I never left them behind. Did I leave? Yeah, but that doesn't mean it was permanent. It wasn't permanent. It was temporary until I could get established with a house, a car, a new job, a life that we didn't have. It wasn't working with their dad at all. I had to come to terms with that, especially taking psychology courses. I was like, oh my God, I'm in an awful situation for whatever reason. It was not healthy. It was not good. Anyway, so what is the hope in all of this? If you discover a child that's clearly been alienated, you could see it by the denigration they're displaying toward their other parent. What can you do when you're precluded and you can't get a phone call through, no emails, gifts are rejected? I sent a giant package on Christmas, cost me $90. Got rejected. The mail lady was bawling her eyes out when she pulled up in my driveway. Bawling her eyes out with my Christmas package. I was like, what's wrong, honey? I got your package back. Your kids didn't want it. Like, that's the stuff that does. It not only affects the kids, my mail lady was upset, for crying out loud. Not cool. Not cool, man. It hurts everybody. It can hurt everybody. You know, anybody who comes in contact. Anyways, the hope. God's your hope. But before we get to the cherry on the cake, we'll talk about the scientific evidence, the studies that support this statement. Is this true? Is this stuff true? Yeah, it's true. According to Baker and Darnall, 2006, there's a research on parental alienation syndrome that found that denigration of the alienated parent is a key identifier. If you look that up, you'll find that there has been studies on this, and it's serious, and they're talking like it's serious child psychological abuse. That's what this is. But people need to be educated on this. It's awful. And if my kids are suffering, girls, I am working really hard at bringing awareness to this and reaching your daddy, and I'm not going to give up because I love you guys. And if you're suffering through anything, go to God. Go to God. He will lift you up. He will help you. Remember Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high places. And if you're believing a lie, it's the enemy. It's not of God. God gives us, He doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. If there's anything in here that doesn't sound good, that's negative in any way, shape, or form, it's not of God. It's the enemy, and he's out to get us all, because he's the original alienator. God is the original targeted parent. This is a very old story, and we're all in it. We're all in it, and until we wake up, we're not going to see it. But there's an armor in Ephesians 6. If you read the entire chapter, there's an armor that we can put on that works. Read it. It'll tell you all about it. The sword of the Spirit, the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the helmet of salvation, the boots shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. I don't know if I'm doing this in perfect order, but if you look it up, I'll put it in here somewhere. If you look that up and read it, that's your armor. Put it on. Put it on. Stay close to God. He will help you. Anyways, the second scientific study is Burnett and Harmon, 2019. There was a study that confirmed that children who engage in persistent denigration of a parent have been subjected to psychological manipulation. Because see, here's the thing. Abused children, truly abused children, they don't do the same things as parentally alienated children do. They don't reject their abused parent. It's not their innate natural instinct to do so. Look it up. It's so true. These things are real. They're really happening. And they're really happening to my girls. And their dad. And me. And it has brought seriously unnecessary consequences. Seriously unnecessary. Let's say I was the worst person on the planet. If he didn't stop me from wanting to be a mom, it wouldn't have went as difficult as it is right now. Let's say I was the worst person on the planet, okay? We're supposed to forgive each other, especially if we feel sorry for any of our wrongdoing. I am desperately sorry for anything that I've done to cause you any pain. I'm struggling through dementia. If I've forgotten anything, just remind me, and we'll talk about it. That's what people do. That's how you learn and grow and establish relationships and boundaries and love, man. Memories. Love. I don't claim to be perfect. I'm a jackass in a lot of ways. I don't deny that. But guess what? I don't want to be a jackass. I don't. And I love all my children with all my heart. But first and foremost, I love God with all my heart, all my soul, and all I can. And I love my neighbor. My neighbor is anybody who's around me, even those that do me wrong. Because I'm fully aware of Ephesians 6:12. They're believing something that's not true about me. That's what's happening. They're truly believing something somewhere, even if it's not about me. They're believing something to want to say falsehoods or change a story around or whatever it is. It's not good. So, Ephesians 6:2-3. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on earth. It is so unhealthy to have our children not love their other parent. It's unhealthy. There's a reason we're supposed to have both of our parents in our lives. First of all, both parents are half of you. I'm part my mom, part my dad. God rest their souls. They both passed away. My girls weren't around. I don't even know if they know. If you guys didn't know, Nina passed away on April 6, 2018. She was really sick. I was there, and it was a beautiful ending. Grumpy passed away on December 18th of this past year, this past Christmas. He passed away. I wasn't at the hospital because I had caught his COVID. He had COVID, but that wasn't all he had. He was really sick. He was down to 60 pounds. But he just passed away, and all he wanted to do before he died was give you guys a hug. He loved you girls so much. He really did. He loved you girls a whole lot. He really did. I got to spend some time with him, and he was a very special person. He was Did he have problems? Yeah. Don't we all? Don't we all have problems? But are they impossible to deal with? I don't believe that. I don't believe it's impossible. And for you targeted parents out there who are struggling so hard to get through whoever's alienating you from your children, just know there's a reason. And those reasons are written right in the King James Version. The whole story is in there. It's in there, all the way from the beginning to the end. The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the whole story. You're part of the story. There is an enemy afoot, and it isn't us. We're not battling flesh and blood. This is spirits. And some of those spirits are downright wicked. They're not fun. And they will rip you to shreds. You must turn to something greater than yourself. You have to. There's no other choice. Because if you don't, all there is nothing. There's a separation from love, from God. Like, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about God. You have to connect to God first. He's your protection. He's your guide. He's your friend. He's your brother, your dad, your husband, your everything. He's everything. These are the things I really tried to instill in my girls through actions and morals, and I did my best to get that in there. And I know I got a lot of things in there before it all fell apart. I believe that these videos, if they come across, will water those seeds and remind them of where they come from. You're half of me, and half of you loves you so much. And I'm just waiting here. I have a phone number. It's 810-333-6612. It's Grumpy's old phone number. I kept it because he was making little wooden crosses and putting his phone number on them and giving them out to people to spread the gospel. And so I kept his phone after he passed away and let my phone number go. That's my phone number now. If you want to reach me, I'm available. You might have to text me first because for some reason he's getting like calls all day and night. So I wouldn't know it's you if you try calling. So you'll have to text first and let me know that you're trying to get through. I'd love to have some coffee. Anything. Whatever you want to do. I can't wait to see you again. I'm so excited to see you again. I know it'll happen. One day you're going to want to know what happened to your mama, and I'll tell you all about it. A lot of it'll be here on these videos. But the private, deep down, heart-to-heart, meaningful, most important things will be between just you and I. And I can't wait to squish your fat, chubby cheeks and give you great big old huggies and tell you how much your mama loves you, because I desperately love you. I really do. I'm proud of my girls. You're so beautiful. You're the greatest gift I ever had, all my kids. And Mr. Manhead, oh my God, you guys would love him. He's so funny and cute and amazing and simple and non-intrusive and gentle and kind, and he reminds me of you. I can't help but miss you. I miss you. I love you so much. And I hope you're doing wonderful. I really do. I hope you really are happy, like Daddy says. That you're happy, you're established, and Trinity's getting married, probably had a baby, and you know I always wanted to be a grandma. I told you that, and you always said, no, we're not going to have kids. And I would beg you and say, no, you got to have kids. You know how much I love babies. I love children. I'm not perfect. I'd never do anything to a child. Ever. I love kids. And I love you kids. And I'm at Dana Erber's old house. I bought it. It's paid off. I just pay the taxes. I'm trying to make something for your future. Anything. these scriptures. They're important. Colossians 3:21. Fathers, don't provoke your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. There's a reason these things are written in there. They matter. They'll help you. They guide you. They'll keep you in the way. It's narrow, yes. The road is narrow. Broad is the way that leads to destruction. Believing that I'm something that I'm not is not helping you girls. It's not helping our girls. Just call me. Let's talk. Like grown-ups. Without all the garbage. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I know you're watching this. I know you've watched everything. You've known my every move. From the very beginning, you've known my move. I'm not going anywhere. I love you guys. I just want you to know that. And the hope is that Father God loves us all. He loves us all. And the moment we wake up and realize it and connect to Him is where the peace that surpasses all understanding is. That's where you find your hope. Do I struggle with that sometimes? Yeah, I'm human. You know, the peace that surpasses all understanding doesn't cover the fact that my dog puked all over my couch this morning. I woke up to that. I was very upset. Was very angry for a while because the dog's not even supposed to be on my new couch. He's got his own couch that he ate. That's his couch. At any rate, I'm human. We're all human. We all have attitudes, personalities, goals, dreams, and outlooks. But this stuff has got to stop. This is hurting kids. Like, here's another one. I'm going to read another one. There was one that was in here that just broke my heart. Right here, alienated children are not functioning well. Alienating parents and other biased, self-serving bad actors we call flying monkeys. Alienators convince other people what the targeted parent is, and they have this campaign running to protect the kids from danger. They're spreading a dangerous and harmful myth about alienated children. They're claiming that if a child is functioning well in school, has healthy relationships, and is interested in lots of activities, that they are functioning normally and will have a good prognosis in life. They won't. This is a dangerous myth disputed by science. It is analogous to telling parents that their child is in perfect health if their lungs, heart, and kidneys are functioning well, but oh, by the way, the child needs a liver transplant. The relationship to the parent is so important to the child's prognosis in life that if the child does not have a normal relationship with their other parent and hates that parent, the child will not have a healthy prognosis in life. It's time to stop this. It's been 8 years. I have not laid a single eye on any one of my children, and not for lack of effort. I have done everything possible in my power to reach out to my child's dad. I have texted till I'm blue. I have not texted in quite some time because it's been pointless. I don't get any responses, and if I do get a response, it's more hate. It's more hate. So what he's saying is when you respond, it makes things worse because he doesn't want anything to do with me. Our children are not allowed to either. That's not fair. The judge said that it was up to Eris, up to her discretion, whether or not she see her mom. Okay, well, how does she make a discretionary decision with no information? I'm here. You know how to get a hold of me. You know my phone number, you know my email, you know where I live, you know my every move just like before. There's no reason for this. And if Eris is this devastated, she needs therapy, the right kind of therapy, not the therapy that helps support this narrative and campaign that I'm somehow abusive. because you know just as well as I know that I don't have an abusive bone in my body. None. I don't know what you've been saying, but it's not working. That's not working. Okay, if there was something that I've done, let's discuss it. I'm willing to open up and admit my wrongdoings. And if it's wrong, I'll admit to it. And I will seek therapy, and I will work on it, and I will stop doing that because my kids need their mom. Your children need their mother. The mother that loves them and has been available all this time, that you know has been available all of this time, is here. I'm patiently waiting. And I will always wait. And I will always punch out these videos. I'm going to be doing a lot more. It's been difficult because my barrier has been, God forbid if I say anything wrong. If you do your homework, this is what's going on with our family. I'm being alienated from you guys, you girls. I'm being alienated from you. I've been available. And I don't know what Eris told the judge, but whatever she told the judge made the judge decide that Eris will not see her mom. It's up to her discretion. Mom's been here. Mom's available. Mom has a phone number. Has Eris been told any of this? The mom has been desperately trying to reach out all these years. I found her YouTube channel. I was on there as Josie Young because I was afraid to be me. Because if I was me, then I'm horrible. I'm dangerous. I'm the bad guy. But I wanted to encourage her and tell her that she's amazing and that her videos are great. And I wanted to do that to push the algorithm to boost her videos because she's really creative, smart, and funny. So I posed as somebody else. I'm going to be honest. I was on it. Was it dishonest? I had to be. I couldn't encourage my daughter as myself. I wanted to encourage her because I love her. If she remembers, we used to make movies together. We used to run around in the cemetery and make scary, spooky horror flicks with her friends. I tried to do things with you. I tried to do things with all you girls. But something got in the way and told you that I was a monster, that I was bad, and that I didn't love you, and that I didn't care about you, and all those horrible things that aren't even true. They're not true. Come, see, check for yourself. I'll tell you the truth. And you'll see just how much your mama really loves you. I love you so much. And I hope that your day is blessed. And I hope that your life is truly wonderful, as the reports say. All I have is a report. That's all I've got to work with. And it's okay for the moment. But eventually you're going to want to know, where's your mama? Where's my mama? How come I didn't have a mom? You did have a mom the whole time. Just like with Father God, he says the same thing. You had a father the whole time. Only reason you didn't open your Bible or look for me is because there's so many distractions. There's so many things in your head that tell you I'm not real. That tell you that I don't love you. That tell you can't come to me when you can. You can come to me. And if there's anything in this world you ever need, if there's anything in this world you ever need guidance for, I not only have school study, and I got to put that disclaimer in there too. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist, but I should be. I've been in college, but I can wipe my butt with it because the reports say that I abused children. That was stolen from me too. We're not talking about me though. We're talking about the kids. Like, here's another one. Hold on a second. It gets bad. Alienated children suffer immensely. Alienated children suffer from compromised thinking, emotional dysregulation, and antisocial behaviors. This is what this stuff causes, you guys. And if you're experiencing it, it's because of this. And our family desperately needs help. When it comes to the alienated parent, they confuse love for hate. This is your thinking towards your mama. You're confusing love for hate. I don't hate you. Something else is telling you that. Appropriate discipline for emotional abuse, like if we did have a connection of any kind and it was court ordered you had to come and you do something goofy because you believe I'm a piece of garbage and I had to discipline you, you would confuse that for emotional abuse. That's horrible. Discipline is part of growing up with your parent and, creating a bond. It's part of learning each other. It's part of it. Normal parenting affection for emotional abuse. How horrible. So if I hug you, it hurts? That's what this causes? That sucks, man. Interest in their lives as boundary violations. Gifts are manipulation. That's why it got rejected, because you thought I was using it to manipulate you. No, it's all I have. It's everything that I have. It's a piece of my heart. And when alienated parents come to their games, if I were to come to any of your after-school programs, it's considered stalking. The only reason I would want to come to your after-school stuff is to let you know that I support you. I love you. Like I mentioned with the YouTube thing. I wasn't stalking. I just want to tell you I love you. That's all. But if they don't come, if I didn't show up to the games or whatever that activity is, I'm considered showing no interest in you. No interest in the child. Who thinks that an alienated child can grow up normal and have a normal prognosis in life? Like how? When they're being programmed to believe that their other parent is horrible and out to get them and a piece of garbage that doesn't love them or care about them, when it's the complete opposite. Why? Because their other parent feels slighted. Feels like they were done wrong. And for that, you don't have the right to have a relationship with your child. But the most important thing, you cut that loving parent out of your child's life. Do you love your children? Why would you steal their mom from them? Because you're upset about something that can be worked on. It's not even necessary. So when they have such mixed up thinking, feelings, and behaviors, how are they going to have a normal life? I've been here the whole time. God bless you all. This is a job. This is a lot of work. We got to fight for our kids' rights, man. This is for our kids. And at the end of the day, for us too. Dang it. We went through some stuff too. There's some scientific evidence that a lot of targeted parents are unaliving themselves. That's how depressed and painful this makes a person. I've been through a lot of pain, yes, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to tell you guys the truth. There is a God. He does love you. He is backing you. 1,000 million gajillion %. He knows exactly what you're going through, and if you'll turn to him, he'll help you. Like he's helping me. He's helping me tremendously. I've been through some really, really painful things. And that's what my channel is about. Helping people who've been through some very abusive things. And it's not people. There really is an enemy. And he really does not like you. And he really doesn't want you to know the truth. And he really wants to steal your kids, break your heart, and hopefully break your soul. That's his goal. By the grace of God, that's not going to be your future. That's not going to be my child's future. By the grace of God, that is not going to be my child's daddy either. Because the fate of some decision like that, I don't wish on my greatest enemy. I love my child's daddy. Albeit it's not the same kind of love, but it's real love. It's the truth love. It's righteous love. It's love that says, I care about what you're going through. That you would make a decision like this to take your daughter's mother out of their lives. When you know that I'm a good mom and that I love them. I say good because I want the best for our children. I'll be back. God bless you and keep you all in all ways, for always, forever and ever. Not forever and ever, forever endeavor. I'll endeavor this to my last breath. Bye for now.
Born for more than just the fight, a fire inside burning bright. No more shadows, no more chains. Rising up, we own our name. God guides us, no fear, no doubt. A musical rising, hear it shout. Hey, hey, this is for you. A musical rising, hear it. Hey, hey, we're not done yet. The Trinity Symphony, Eris and you. God set the standard and sees us through. Step by step, take back your ground. Turn it up, feel the sound. We're not lost, we're not through. Stand up strong, the world needs you. God guides us, no fear, no doubt. A musical rising, hear it shout. Hey, hey, this is for you. Dancing through the flames, breaking through. Hey, hey, we're not done yet. For Trinity Symphony, Eris and you. God will make a way to see us through, and we will understand you. Have been seeing you too. At the VPP, we just we rise, we rise. Welcome to the movement, can't be denied. The Victim Prevention Project, fear won't decide. God